Bowl prognosticator.
Holiday Bowl game series.
With the prognosticator. I'm David Winker, and I'm here with the prognosticator.
He's back. He's back in action. It's been a while. You're here. We took a couple weeks off there for we had some extenuating long days. I've been running the Romberg show at night. So basically I have a cot here, a hot plate, some powdered coffee.
They've been very busy.
Coffee grounds.
You've been locked away, eating scraps.
Basically beef jerky and combos. Now there are no more combos in the machine, so I think I got to switch it up.
And you got nothing else to do in your spare time
except to look at these football lines for all the bowl games.
Look at these lines and set us and get us the locks.
There are several locks, and usually bowl games are like my wheelhouse because you have super overmatched conferences against big Power 5 conferences with lines that are sketchy. So let's just go through it. And
well, before let me pick your brain on the. I want to start with the top first.
Okay.
What did you think about the college playoff 4?
No.
What was your takeaway?
I thought A&M should have been in there. A&M is a superior. I think that if A&M played Notre Dame, A&M would win that game. Now, the way they're playing right now.
It's interesting because, in some respects, people were saying it came down to who had the more embarrassing loss. And they were saying, Notre Dame, that was kind of an embarrassing loss to Clemson. But they did beat Clemson earlier in the year.
But Clemson, no Trevor Lawrence.
Right, but Clemson didn't have its star quarterback.
Right.
But Texas A&M looked like if they played Alabama 10 times, Alabama would cover the spread 10 times.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of fits in with this, where it's really tough because do I think Cincinnati could run with any of these teams?
Or Coastal Carolina?
I don't. But it's interesting to see what they're going to do, where it's like you want to encourage people, these other these non-Power 5 conferences, to play these tough schedules and do this. And
right.
What's the reward for that?
Well, Mac Brown was saying in an interview yesterday, and as much as I hate that guy because of what he did to Miami, he is a pretty good coach and he knows what he's talking about. And he's saying expand it to 6 or let everybody other than the Power 5 conferences have their own playoff.
Yeah. Or it's interesting because I got to tell you something. I have a solution.
Okay.
I think of myself as being like a creative lawyer. And if I was presented this, you know what I would do?
What's that?
I would have had a little play in. I would have done almost that the one game playoff, like the wild card in
baseball.
There's nothing more exciting, right? And just saying
you got to win to get in.
That's it. We're playing Christmas Day.
Or they do the same thing in NCAA basketball.
Exactly. And we're playing Christmas Day. We're gonna go. We're gonna be in
Liberty
Dallas
versus Coastal.
And here's Carolina. The 4 teams. And you'd have Coastal Carolina, Cincinnati, A&M.
Oh, I don't know. A&M might just dominate that.
They might, but let's see it. Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah,
Tommy.
Everybody
Who doesn't want to see that?
Everybody.
And I got to tell you something. If those non-Power 5s if they get their butts handed to them, it is what it is. And I just don't see how we lose either way, or we have pure chaos when Coastal Carolina somehow
pulls it off like they did against BYU, which was awesome.
That game. I mean, I watched that game. That game was awesome.
Speaking of Myrtle Beach, right now being played is the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I didn't even know that was a real thing, but apparently it is. App State and University of North Texas.
My wife is a Mean Green. She's a North Texas grad. I don't know that she ever went to a football game, but I always pay extra attention to the Mean Green of North Texas.
So when I printed this sheet out, it was App State 21-7. Since the time I printed it out, this is still warm from the printer, it's App State scored again 28-7 in the first half.
So they're right at the spread in the first half.
It's 21, so they're fine. They should take that one. But let's go to some of these other oddly named bowls. Let's go. And this is one that I actually picked, and I picked this team a couple times during the regular season, and I still like them. But this is actually a dog play for me. Tulane versus Nevada in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Which I imagine is in Boise. Nevada getting 3. I'm going to go ahead and take Nevada and the points against Tulane. Yeah,
against Tulane, who's had a really good year.
Yeah, but Nevada plays a tougher schedule, and I think they should rise above that.
Cool.
And it opened at 4. It's 3 now.
We'll be watching that one.
Yep. Then I get a little bit dirty in the what do they call this one? Oh, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. I can't believe some of these. I'm like, what? Wait till we get to the Miami one. Miami's
I know. We'll get to that one.
Hilarious. So this is Louisiana Tech against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern has covered for me the whole season. That line opened at 4. It's now 6. I like Georgia Southern to win the R&L Carriers Bowl. So that's it for that one. Then I got to go back to listen. When BYU played Coastal, that was because Liberty had COVID and they couldn't play that game.
Yep.
But now it's a bowl game, and I think it's on what is it, on Christmas Day? No, it's on the day after.
Day after.
Day after Christmas. So it's the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl. Not even sure where that's being played, and really don't care. But it's Coastal Carolina is going to rock Liberty's world. I think
really.
I think so. They're going to spank them.
Wow.
It's 5.5 now. 5 opened at 6. I think it's 5.5 still. Yeah. I think the Chanticleers are going to go undefeated.
The Flames.
They should.
Beat the Flames. Liberty's had a storied season, and Hugh Freeze will likely be coaching in either Auburn or South Carolina, some SEC team.
Do you think he goes does he go there, or are they going to pick up one of those other coaches from, one of the teams that ended up winning 8 games that shouldn't have won any games? There are tons of those guys
I think what he's done at Liberty is like nothing short of amazing.
But are they going to let him back into the elite level of college coaching is the question. Okay, so here's an interesting, and this is a local game, the Cheez-It Bowl.
Cheez-It.
It's cheesy.
Unlimited Cheez-Its.
It's super cheesy. But that is a Tuesday the 29th, Miami versus Oklahoma State. Man, opened at 2.5, Miami getting 2.5. It's now Miami 2, so a little bit of money on the Canes. Man, I think Oklahoma State can beat them, and they're playing well right now. And Miami's on a downturn. But now, do they come and get back what they lost against Carolina with a win, with a bowl game win, albeit the Cheez-It Bowl?
And I got to tell you, it's interesting because this is why I don't bet personally, because I just can't cheer against the Canes, but I don't see the Canes every year. They play in these kind of like disappointment bowls.
Yeah.
And they never show up.
Horrible.
And it's interesting. It's going to be interesting that I heard Coach Manny Diaz this morning on the radio talking about how different this is, where, usually you'd go up there, you stay for a week, you partake in all the festivities, like all
enjoy
the local
city,
stuff, enjoy the city,
get some local food,
which is really, one of the joys of the bowl season.
I don't know if there's any local food in Orlando though. Is that like Twin Peaks?
Twin Peaks. That's funny. But in this, they're just going to get on the bus, the night before and go.
It's a away game, basically.
And it's so I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. And coming off a loss,
Oklahoma's going to have to come a day early because they're coming from Stillwater.
Oklahoma State's a different thing. But I think for the Canes, what I'm saying is the Canes may show up. Like, this may be more of a, like, they don't, I don't know. I got to tell you, the Canes haven't, and the way they lost to Carolina, I mean, I got to tell you something. That was just such a deflating loss.
Yeah, big time.
How do you balance? Like, it was funny watching that game because I was thinking to myself, like, I remember playing different sports and losing so badly, and a coach saying, like, do something so you can take away something positive, right?
Right.
Like, we're both baseball,
right?
And it's like get a hit, steal a base,
anything,
like, do something,
right? Catch
flash
the ball.
the leather, exactly. Do something to
Yeah.
build on this week. And it's like the Canes did nothing to build on. That was just like an ignominious defeat.
That was brutal,
humiliating.
Yeah.
So how do they react? So it's interesting you said, and you have the Cowboys coming in, and they're playing good ball. I mean, it's
and the Big 12 is no joke, man. That's a serious conference. Like, you look at the Iowa States in there. There's some really, Oklahoma, obviously, but there's some good teams in there, and that's a challenging conference. So I think when you're playing the top 3 or 4 teams in there week in and week out that are, in the top 15 in the country, you have to get better. You have to get better. And I think Oklahoma State.
So you're taking Oklahoma State now. I'll be watching.
I'm going to take them. I'm wearing green and orange right now, man. But I'm telling you right now, the Canes are going to have a tough time.
Canes are 3-point favorites as of today.
2-point favorites. So I'll take the 2, and that's going to change, man. It's still early. These only came out. These lines came out 2 days ago, and now we're a day into it. So people are starting to pick and choose the ones they like. And that's what I'm doing. Another one. Here we go in the Valero Alamo Bowl, Texas versus Colorado. Love Texas to win that game. They had a statement game a couple weeks ago after their coach was basically on the chopping block. They came back and played well. Yep. They're playing better now. Colorado struggled against Utah in that game at home. I think they lost that game by a touchdown. So I don't know that they're even worthy to be in that bowl.
I watched that game.
Yeah, they're 4-1. How can somebody be? I saw another crazy. Wasn't even a winning season.
Yeah,
and they're in a bowl game. Like, how is that
4-1? I watched that game against Utah, though. I got to tell you something. It looks so cold, so miserable, so snowy.
It's freezing, dude. The snow on the field. Snow on the field, but they're used to it. It's Boulder, man. Like, that's what they do over there. That's what they do over there. I'm going to stay away from the Gator, Oklahoma. After seeing the Gators play so strong against Alabama, they just didn't have any give up in them.
So let's talk about that game. I got to tell you, I watched that game, and I just I felt like an old man. I'm 50 years old. You're 50 too, right? And the SEC has just passed me by. To watch that game, there was no defense.
Zero.
It just
how is it? Alabama will draft 9 players in the first 2 rounds and on their defense.
It's just and so the Gators came back kind of in garbage time.
Yeah.
But it kind of what we're talking with the Canes. The Gators built that result, especially if you didn't watch.
You can't be disappointed. If that happened to us against North Carolina, I would be okay with it.
Exactly. I mean, the Gators they can hold their head high, and I got to tell you something. The Gators, I don't know. It's just so it's it's hard to put together. Here you have Trask and that offense, and that defense just they can't stop anybody. It was just unbelievable. No. And so, anyways, that's going to be an interesting game. And I it's almost it's a lot of times you'll hear who does this, Dan Levitard will always say what do we know? What do we know? What do we know to be the truth? And with these Gators, I don't know that we know a lot. That's a tough game to bet. And so you're staying away from that one.
Yeah. That scares me. I mean, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's up. I think the over under 70.5 right now. I mean, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. But look, the Gators scored 42? In the last game
against Alabama? It's the old. Remember the greatest show on turf? You may score 62, but we're going to score 63.
Exactly. Exactly right.
That game, Oklahoma, that may be what that comes down to. It's just a track meet.
It's possible. Both good teams. Let me see what I got here on this next game.
And give us a lock, man. Give us the lock.
I thought I was giving locks. Apparently not. All right, I'll give you. Here's my lock of the whole thing. This is the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
All right.
NC State, 8-3 NC State against 4-6 University of Kentucky. And I'm going to take Kentucky minus.
No, get out of here.
I'm going to take the SEC against the ACC.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
that's the one I was telling you about. How could a team 4-6? That's their actual record, 4-6, but they're in the Gator Bowl? That's crazy. So you got to take them.
It's interesting. I'm sorry, I was just sharing it.
No, that's all right.
Hey, we got George Gonzalez. George, when are we getting you in, man? I
forgot because this is the least produced show of any show here at Miami Community News. This is there's no producer. I have to get up and do it myself. You work so hard for
everybody. He sets it himself. George, reach out to me. We're going to have you come in before the new year. You got to come in and do a show with us.
Yeah, or maybe we could just talk New Year's Day bowls or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. We're going to revisit more the Final Four.
George in and just in general, we'll catch up.
Right, and then I got 2 more.
Okay, keep going.
2 more, and then we'll talk about the Final Four. So, what are they calling this Oregon Bowl?
And I want to go local.
Okay, so do we know what they're called? Okay, so Orange Bowl, I want to talk about that. But then what's the Oregon? Is that the sugar, cotton, or whatever? One of those two. It might be on this other sheet.
It's
but anyway, so in A&M, who I thought should have gotten in, that's going to be one of those games where they're going to say, you know what, you fools left us out,
and we're
going to spank Carolina, and that's what's going to happen.
I got to tell you,
Carolina right now is +6. I think it's going to go up to 7 or 8. I love A&M to win that game. I heard Jimbo talking about his team being disappointed.
Carolina's favored?
No, they're getting 6.
Carolina's given 6. I mean, Texas A&M's given 6.
Yeah.
So before you leave that, okay, so here's
6.5 now.
I agree with the analysis because I think that the trajectory that A&M is on, like I Jimbo's been there before.
Yeah.
And the trajectory they're on is they just have to keep their mouth shut.
Mac Brown's been there before too.
Keep winning. Well, here's what I was going to say. The thing is that you have two teams that want to make a statement. But I got to tell you something. Those are going to be 2 super motivated teams.
Yeah.
Because if Mac Brown and Carolina can beat them, it just, listen, David Singer just asked, FSU playing in a bowl game?
No.
They're not in it at all.
No. But the 4-6 Kentucky Wildcats.
Satirical question. But it's interesting to think about I was saying about the trajectory of it, where A&M is there's probably no game where they're going to have, besides winning a national championship, obviously, no motivated team more than A&M.
Right.
And likewise, you have Carolina, who is all over the place. Lost to FSU, man. They lost to FSU.
Yeah, that makes that Miami beat down hurt even worse.
And they made Miami look like a high school team. I mean, they crushed us. So again, it goes back to that, like, what do we know to be true? A&M is a good, solid team. Who knows what Carolina is going to show up? It's going to be
right. And then the Rose Bowl, that's what it was. Oregon, Iowa State,
and that's in Dallas. Actually,
is it really?
They moved it because California.
Oh, you can't do anything.
California won't let them play.
Wow, that sucks for them because that's an awesome place to watch a football game, Pasadena.
So
I like Iowa State. Opened up at 3. Now they're 4.5-point favorites. I think the Big 12 has just had a longer season. They played tougher games. The Pac-12 is not really that good. The competition there isn't that good. You saw USC go down again. So I don't. I think the Big 12 prevails in that game as well with Iowa State.
Tell us our top 4. So our 4 games.
So we've got Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame. Alabama's number 1. Notre Dame's number 4. So then you got 2, 3.
Yeah. So I got to tell you something. That Clemson Ohio State game. Is there any chance that Ohio State surprises Clemson?
I don't see how. They almost lost in Northwestern. No, Clemson's going to kick their butt. Yeah. And it's going to be cool because I really don't like Ohio State, but I don't like Clemson either. Good. Like out of the 4 teams, I'd want to see Notre Dame to win the whole thing, but they don't have a chance. They're going to get wrecked.
I don't like any of those teams, so it's going to be
they're
tough.
bad, all of them. But I think at the end of the day, Clemson prevails in this whole thing, and they beat Alabama.
They beat Alabama.
Yep. And then Trevor Lawrence goes to become the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Really?
Because now they have a lower the Jets won. The Jets are 1-13. Jacksonville's 1-13, but their win percentage with the points or whatever, Jacksonville is actually going to have the number 1 pick.
That will be such a great legacy.
Much better than going to the Jets.
Of the Jets of the Adam Gase, that
he got one
terrible season and he screwed it up by winning that game.
Yeah.
And they end up.
But how many more quarterbacks can they draft? Number 1, they've had how many first-round draft picks that have just been busts? Every one of them.
No, I got to say,
or they get injured.
If you're Trevor Lawrence, going to Jacksonville is not terrible.
No.
You got an owner that's going.
They got some money to
spend. You may be playing in London in a couple of years.
Yeah. Exactly. Get used to roast beef, bro, because that's what you're going to be eating every day. Fish and chips. That's it.
What else you got for us?
That's it, man. Nothing. I'm just, now if the season ended today, the Dolphins would be in. We got to win out.
Tell me about the Dolphins.
Well, game. I mean, you got to win out.
What do you think about that Dolphins game?
Defense showed up again. They looked a little rough in the beginning, shaky. But they came together. But that's against a bad team.
What do we know to be true? And I think we're struggling because what we know to be true is that defense is badass.
Yeah.
Right?
Serious.
2, I don't know what to make of Tua after that game. I was kind of buying into the Tua hype, and he looked like a rookie quarterback. I'm not saying it's a bust or something terrible.
Right. You're not like me thinking we should have gotten Justin Herbert. Every time I see that kid play.
No, but Herbert's like playing his ass off, right? I mean,
dude,
that's
he just set the record or tied the record for most touchdowns in a rookie season. And he's going to beat it this weekend. So it
was interesting. It was almost like one of the things you see with these young quarterbacks is like the regression or whatever. It's just like Tua, the last couple games, the game seemed to slow down a little bit for Tua, and he just looked out of sorts. I mean, that interception looked like you or me out there. Like that was a bad
I might not have thrown the pick. Mine just might have been in the dirt.
No, that would have been great.
I don't know that I would have even gotten it there, but
that was so bad. But, and I got to tell you something, like I was telling someone I was watching the game, you know, at a sailing club and, you know, kind of the normal stuff we've been watching all year. And just the look on each other's face was like, man, these Dolphins are all right. Like we won this game.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So come here.
But we got to win out though.
Come here. So this is my daughter, Christina.
Here, you want to sit in this seat so I can go turn the show off?
Yeah, sit down for a second.
Wipe that cookie off your face.
Covered in cookie. Tell us, I'll see. Who's your favorite football team? Into the mic.
Dolphins.
Dolphins or Canes?
Dolphins.
Dolphins or Canes? Canes or Gators?
Canes.
Canes. Knowles?
Come here, friend.
LC. Knowles or Gators?
Gators.
What's your favorite sport?
Me? Basketball. You? My favorite sport is basketball.
Basketball.
Your mom and send it to her.
Yeah. Look at the camera. Elsie, are we going to watch a lot of football during the break? You and me? No. All right. Well, Miami, enjoy the bowl season. We'll see you in the new. We'll see you with an update later. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.